UFC 314 going down this Saturday in Miami, Florida. We have one of the best cards of the year so far. I mean, the UFC has done a great job of just with the matchups, and it should create a great night of fights. And I'm happy here to break down and give my picks for this fight card. We have Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopes in the main, and then we have Michael Chandler versus Paddy Pimblett in the co-main. Again, a great night of fights. I'm here. I'm excited to break this card down with you guys and go through my picks and my winners for this card. And then later on in the week, on Friday, you'll be getting another episode from me and Drew. We're going to give a quick analysis of each fight, and then I'll give my favorite looks and bets for each single fight. So you guys want to stick around for that on the channel. Again, if you're listening to this on the audio, Spotify, hopefully you follow the podcast. But also, if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, hopefully you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and for the algorithm, comment something down below, your picks, your thoughts on my picks. But yeah, let's you can talk it up, chat it up in the comment section. But let's get into breaking down this fight card. It's really, really exciting. So let's just start from the bottom and work our way to the top. Okay. So first card we have Nora Knoll versus Haley Cohen. But the physicality should be even throughout this fight. I feel like because Haley Cohen is very, she's athletic. She has a good build to her body, and she does do some decent work against the cage, just kind of holding her opponent there. But she has a good frame. She has she's muscular, so I think the physicality edge, it may be a toss up in this fight, but I think Nora Knoll should run away with this fight. I think Nora Knoll is, even though she's 35 years old, I think she is a bright spot in this women's bantamweight division. A fresh face. She really gets nasty. I think she can really throw down, and maybe her skill set is not all the way there, but I do like the strikes. I do like the power that's coming from Nora Knoll. I just think she has some nastiness to her skill set, and I think that's why I will go with the Nora Knoll. I think she gets a finish here. I actually do think she does get a finish. Again, she throws with intent to finish fights. I think she has this violence to her. Haley Cohen has been pulling out of fights a lot. She's been inactive, maybe some injury there, but she's not active enough, and she's coming off a loss to Jamie Horth, and that alone doesn't sit well with me. And that fight was, I don't know, like that. Yeah, that loss doesn't sit well with me. So I'm really shocked to see the lines sitting where they're at right now with this being a women's fight. Usually the lines are wide, so. And then two, looks like people are really high on Haley Cohen, or they are just not seeing what I'm seeing with Nora Knoll. But I think there's just a gap, and I think Nora's going to be faster with her punches, getting to the punches first, landing first. I think she's going to be too quick, and I think she has the power to put Haley away. So yeah, give me Nora Knoll by TKO finish. I don't think this goes to the judges at all. And Nora Knoll is sitting at a minus 175. I think for a women's fight, a lower tier women's fight, I think that's some good odds. That's a good money line to play, maybe in a parlay, a two-piece parlay. I think, again, I know people are kind of iffy or, stay away from women's MMA, but I just think the skill sets are just not even close to each other. I think Nora Knoll is the better fighter, and I'm surprised that this isn't even like a 3-1. Not even like a minus 200 that Nora Knoll isn't like. I'm surprised. So that money line is looking nice, but if you guys want to parlay her with someone else, because there are some favorable money lines on this card. So yeah, but yeah, give me Nora Knoll by TKO. Next fight, we have Tresean Gore versus Marco Tulio. I really tried my best to get to the Tresean Gore side here. I know people are not very high on Trayshawn Gore, but I think he has solid power. I think he may not technically have the striking, but I think he has some decent power in his hands, and he is finishing his opponents with subs, and his grappling is coming along really, really nice. I think that's where he does his best work, obviously, with the finishers that he's been getting back to back subs. Um, but Marco Tulio, just what I've watched to film studying for this fight, I saw that this guy's stand up. He has a thud and he has that power. A good kickboxer. Um, I do get scared if Tulio wants to come forward, push it a little bit too hard, coming forward, and he may get caught because I think, yeah, Treshawn Gore, like I said, does have decent power. But I don't know. I like Tulio. I like his kicks. I think he has very underrated kicks. Good punch power. Good again. Good kickboxing. Um, Now Tulio, I know he has some submission wins. He has one submission win in his career. But I wonder if Treshawn Gore is going to, you know, have something up his sleeve where he's going to use some more trips or maybe even take this fight to the ground. I don't know, but I saw Marco Tulio get taken down. I saw him get right back up on his feet. I didn't really see the grappling defense so I really can't say for Tulio from the film that I watched, but I just have enough faith in Tulio's striking and the power that he has. And I'm just not that high on Gore's stand up and striking defensively. So give me Tulio. I I think I'm gonna take Tulio by decision here. Next fight we have Sumaderchi versus Mitch Raposo. Now I see a lot of people taking Mitch Raposo this week, and I tried to get my way to Mitch. I know in his UFC debut, he fought a really great fighter in Andre Lima. I think Andre Lima has top 10 potential in the flyweight division. I think Andre Lima is a prospect to keep your eye on. And I know that was a tough fight. But he didn't even like impress me in the Ultimate Fighter when he was in that season. Now the regional fights, he looks good. He has some nice combos. They likes to mix in with the takedowns, but nothing is quite getting me there to pick him in this fight. Because Summer Darcha, yes, he suffers losses. He is on a losing streak coming into this fight, but he still has some great striking. He's still capable of putting on a good jab, and he still has some great hands. And he is coming into this fight with a great advantage in reach. Summer Durchi has 72-inch reach. Mitch Raposo is 64-inch reach. So Mitch has to fight around a nasty jab and long straights down the middle from Summer Durchi. I just haven't seen enough from Mitch Raposo to pick him and be confident in an underdog pick here with Mitch. I'm going Summer Durchi. I think he's still, even with the losing skid at 29 years old, he's still young in the sport. I think he's still coming around. He did put up a good fight against Charles Johnson. Just give me the striking. Just give me the striking of Summer Durchi, and that's my pick, man. And again, minus 170. And Sumerdarchi's kind of downfall is his takedown defense. He doesn't have really good takedown defense. So that would be Mitch Raposo's path to victory, in my opinion. But again, I just haven't seen enough of the dominant wrestling that I would like that would comfort me picking Mitch Raposo. So I'm taking Sumerdarchi here. And I'm going to take him by. I'm going to take Sumerdarchi by decision here. Next fight, we have Cedricus 21 Savage Dumas versus Michelle Olajaychuk. Again, this is lined the way the odds are. I don't get it. Again, I'm not the person to look at the odds and the odds, dictate where I'm going with my pick. But I think old J Chuck is going to piece up Dumas here. And the way in the path to beating Ola Chaychuk is usually going to the ground, getting the fights to the ground, and submitting Ola Chaychuk. That's kind of been the path to victory for his opponents. Cedricus Dumas, yeah, he is still evolving. I feel like he's still green in his career in MMA and the UFC, and I think this is just a big jump in talent for him. His last fight, he fought Tululian, Dennis Tululian, and from to jump from Dennis Tululian to Michael Olajchuk, that's a huge jump in talent and value. I don't think Dumas is ready for that big of a talent jump, and I don't know just how serious Dumas is taking his career. Um, I just can't get behind someone like Dumas. Again, he's still 29. It's like he's still green in some areas and just fighting in general. Um, but again, the talent jump from Tululian to Old Jachuk is just too big for me. Now, Old Jachuk, again, the way to beat him is getting this fight to the ground. Dumas does have decent wrestling, but it's not something that I'm comfortable with and that I can depend on. So give me Old Jachuk to stuff takedowns from Dumas. And I think Old Jacek just has better boxing in this fight. I think he's going to piece up Dumas. I think he's going to hit him with some nasty body shots that may open up the upstairs and the shots to the head. Give me Michael Olchechuk to win by knockout. I think he's going to find openings on Dumas, stuff takedowns, and just kind of have his way on the feet with Dumas. So again, Michael Olchechuk is at a, let's see, on my sports book because I just kind of looked at the lines on this. I use BetMGM for my sports book. So right now he's at a minus 200. That's what I kind of, yeah. I mean, that's still. I feel like that's still kind of good if you want to parlay with someone else. But you would think these would be pushed out wider lines. So it's not a bad tag, I don't think, for Michael Jacek against a Dumas. Come on now. Next fight, we have Darren Elkins versus Juliana Erosa. Listen, guys, um, let's start with the damage here. Let's start with Darren Elkins. This guy is going to fight for your dollar. He's going to fight for you if you are to bet on Darren Elkins. He's going to leave his heart in the octagon. He fights for your he's fight for your dollar. He fights every second of the fight and he will never give up. He just has tremendous heart. He has tremendous grit and I feel like he wins his fights, especially at 40 years old. He's winning his fights basically just kind of um outgritting and just out outpacing and just outpacing his opponents. And when his opponents do get tired, they tend to go to the grappling and go to the ground. And I think that's where Darren Elkins kind of wins these fights is he's grappling with people who are just fatigued and tired, and he's easy to get reversals on the ground and fight his way back into these fights, and he's edging out decisions or he's finishing fights by submissions or getting ground and pounds. I don't know, but Darren Elkins is always finding a way to win. Um, and you look at these wins, yeah, he's coming into this fight on a 2-fight win streak. Um, I just think Erosa is just. Let me bring it back. Elkins' best way to win this fight is on the ground with the grappling. He is not going to win this fight on the with the grappling versus someone like Julian Erosa. Erosa is nasty. Erosa is nasty with the jujitsu, and I think he's going to out grapple Darren Elkins in this fight if it goes there. So, what does this fight look like on the feet in the striking department? I think Erosa is capable of knocking out Darren Elkins. He has decent output. He has long limbs. He has long arms. He's going to have a reach advantage in this fight with 75-inch reach to Darren Elkins' 71-inch reach. Everything is just pointing to Julian Erosa in this fight. Um, and people look at the plus money on Darren Elkins. I know it looks good. I know it looks good, but and I know Erosa is known to make mistakes here and there, but again, I don't think Darren Elkins has the stand up in the boxing to be a good counter striker and have this one power punch that may rock Erosa and Elkins jumps on the neck or something and pulls guard into a submission or whatever. I don't know. I don't quite see it for Darren Elkins. I know he is just a gritty veteran, but I think Erosa just edges him out in striking and in the grappling in this fight, and I think Erosa gets a finish here. Um, yeah, I'm gonna take you Julian Erosa to win by KO TKO. That's just I feel like the scrambles and the grappling could get interesting, maybe, but if it were to get back to the feet, scramble back to the feet, I think Erosa just lands that shot that just kind of rocks Darren Elkins, and the man just can't survive any longer. So give me Erosa to win by knockout. Next fight, we have another OG. We have Jim Miller versus Chase Hooper. Um, I love Jim Miller. I've been watching Jim Miller for a very, very long time. He's always been that veteran that I could go to, count on to pull through, especially when I've just been betting for a few years now. But Jim Miller has been uh, someone I could just lean on as an underdog to win me some money. But he has a tall task in front of him on Saturday with Chase Hooper. Now, Jim Miller is 41 years old, very all around good fighter, but Chase Hooper is a young 25-year-old coming into his own. His body is coming into form. I feel like his body's maturing, his skills are maturing. Chase Hooper's looking good, and I feel like a few maybe like 2 years ago I was kind of trying to fade Chase Hooper. I wasn't a believer of Chase Hooper, but from what I saw against let's see, there's this guy he fought from yeah, the Nick Fiore fight or Nick Flore or something like that. You see right here. From that point on, I was like, okay, Chase is evolving in his skill. He's coming along. He was 23 years old back in that time, and he fights Jordan Levin, and he gets a submission. Okay, I'm like, all right, okay, I see you. And then he subs Vyacheslav Borishev. Now that performance with Borishev is what kind of sold me on Chase Hooper is for real. Chase Hooper, he knocked down Borishev in that fight. He was outstriking the kickboxer in that fight. And Chase Hooper is known for I feel like his grappling more than his striking. But I saw him knock down Vyacheslav Borishev, and I was like, wow, okay, Chase Hooper is here. And then he subbed Clay Guida in his last fight in December last year. So the 25-year-old, he's growing in the sport. He's gaining confidence. The confidence is showing in his performances. He's getting better with each performance, and it's showing in his performances. So I'm actually really, really high on Chase Hooper. I'm high on the skill set that he has and the person and the fighter that he is becoming into. Uh yeah, I think Chase Hooper. I know Jim Miller has more of the power. He has more of the thud in his punches, but I just don't think his reflexes are there anymore to get out of the way of these strikes and to keep up with a young, hungry 25-year-old who's just on a roll right now. I don't think Jim Miller can keep up with a Chase Hooper on the ground either. So I think Chase Hooper finds himself um, a finish here. So I'm gonna go Chase Hooper by submission. Next fight, we have Yan Xiaonan versus Verna Jandiroba. This is one hell of a fight. This is one hell of a fight that has a lot of meaning to it. I think Verna should have been fighting for a belt, but I think with the win here, she does win. She should be fighting Whaley next. She can't be ignored anymore with the performances, the winning streak. Now Yao Xiaonan, she is fast. She's explosive on the feet. She's a great kickboxer. Again, she's fast. Um, but her big downfall on the performances are the takedown defense, and I feel like the grappling is kind of coming along. The grappling defense kind of it's improving a little bit, but it's usually just the takedown defense. Yeah, that she can't just get over that hump. Now she's been with Team Alpha Male for a few fights now, and I don't know when it's gonna be that time where that takedown defense just improves and she gets it fixed. But until I see it, I just can't. I'm tired of getting burned by Yao Xiaonan. I've picked her uh, a few times now, and I've just hasn't gone well with for me. So I'm having a hard time reading Yao Xiaonan in her fights. Um, but what I see with Verna is just she's a she's like a juggernaut. She just kind of walks through these strikers and takes them down. She finds creative ways to get trips and getting these fights to the ground. And she's kind of just like ground and pounding these ladies. Um, Verna's just looking. She's tough, man. Like Verna just has this like nonstop attitude almost. The striking is okay. I hope that Verna can just um get out of the way of these big shots from Yao Jianan that may be coming her way. Um, I think Yao Jianan is a valuable underdog here, but I'm gonna go with Verna. I'm just gonna go with Verna and her ability to take these fights down to the ground. Fight in the clinch. I think Verna does some good work there. Give me Verna to win by decision. Next fight, the feature prelim of the UFC 314. We have Dan Ige versus Sean Woodson. I really tried my hardest to get to the Dan Ige side here. I really wanted to pick Dan Ige. I could still pick Dan Ige, but I just find it hard to. Sean Woodson is built like a damn stick. Like he's tall as hell for featherweight. At 145, this man is 6'2" with a 78.8-inch reach. Are you kidding me? This man is he's a cheat code. Like if you were to create a fighter in the UFC game, you know how you just kind of make real unrealistic like bodies and forms. I don't know if you guys do the same thing that I do, but this is like a creative player that you would make. A shot is a Sean Woodson, someone who's maxed out at the height and just has this incredible reach at a small weight class like 145. I mean, this man is just freaking long. Pause, and I don't know if Danny Ige has the wrestling to close distance and just shoot for takedowns. Because if Danny Ige is to shoot for takedowns, I think the long limbs of Sean Woodson could help, kind of just have some extra leverage to help him in any takedown attempts from Danny Ige. And again, if this fight goes to the ground, I know Danny Ige is tough. He's a tough guy, but I don't know if he has the ground game to keep Sean Woodson down on the ground. Sean Woodson is improving. Um, Sean Woodson is another guy that I was trying to fade, but he just kept on proving me wrong. So I'm tired of being proved wrong. I'm leaning Sean Woodson here. I think he looks good. Yeah, again, Danny Gay is a valuable underdog. He has power, but I just think that Sean Woodson is going to be a sniper with that long range, just shooting in, uh, the punches. and timing Dan Igue's charging coming in. I think he's just going to catch Dan Ige every time that Dan Ige decides to close distance and get reckless in that range. So give me the long rangy fighter here. Give me Sean Woodson. I wouldn't be mad. I'm not mad at the people who are picking Dan Ige because I do think that Dan Ige is just a dog. I think he's a good dog this week, but I don't know. Check with me back on Friday to see if I pick switch on this one. But for right now, I'm taking Sean Woodson by decision. To open up UFC 314. If you guys are still here with me, hopefully you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. And if you're listening to this on the audio version on Spotify, hopefully you follow the podcast. Now let's get into the main card for UFC 314. Sorry, I should take a drink. We have a great fight opening up the main card, the pay-per-view card. So we have Nikita Krylov making his comeback versus Dominic Reyes. Oh boy. So I'm still kind of undecided on this fight. Dom Reyes, at one time, many people thought that he beat John Jones. It was a very, very controversial decision. And, he after that John Jones fight, Dominic Reyes has kind of just his career went on a down slope. He was getting knocked out here, left and right. He was getting knocked out. His chin was looking like it was gone. Um, But as of late, as of last year, Dom Reyes is back and he's finding confidence. He's coming into this fight on a 2-fight win streak, and then he's looking good, man. Like I can't hate on Dom Reyes, man. I'm happy for that Dominic Reyes finding that confidence again, rattling away these wins in these last 2 fights. But I'm saying though, like Nikita Krylov is something. He's kind of dangerous. He's very, very dangerous. I think Krylov is being forgotten in the 205 division. Rightfully so. Again, he's coming off a layoff. He was supposed to fight. Um, he was supposed to fight somebody, but that fell out. So he has been training. And this was just recent. I feel like he was just he was supposed to fight somebody, but it fell out. So he's been training. He has been back from the injury, and he's finally booked to fight again. And I'm excited to see Nikita Krylov here. Um, this is a tough fight because Dominic Reyes, he has good takedown defense. He has good boxing. He has good hands. And if he does get taken down, he does find his ways to get back to his feet. Like he's really good at it. Krylov, he has striking, some good striking. He has long arms. I feel like he looks shorter than 6'3", but he does have like a half an inch reach on Dominic Reyes. But he's a very all around good fighter. Nikita Krylov is. What is stopping me from going to Dominic Reyes in this fight is the chin. I know that Dominic Reyes is coming into this fight on a 2-fight win streak, but I'm still kind of iffy on his chin. Like I don't know where Dominic Reyes is at with chin wise. If it's gone, if it's fully healed, because yeah, he beat just Dustin Jacoby, and then he in his last fight he just beat Anthony Smith. So and I think Nikita Krylov is going to be the one to kind of test that chin to see where it's at. So I'm going Krylov here. I am going finish by Krylov. I think, yeah, I just don't know about Dominic Reyes' chin yet. So give me Krylov to win by knockouts. Next fight we have Bryce Mitchell versus Gene Silva. We have Thug Nasty versus Gene Silva. Listen, if Bryce Mitchell shows up like the old Bryce Mitchell, this fight can be very, very interesting. Now, Gene Silva has been taken down before. Uh, Jourdain was the one to kind of take him down and test that takedown defense. Jourdain was able to take down Gene Silva, um, like twice, I think, or twice or three times. But I'm saying that because I think Bryce Mitchell is a better wrestler, far better wrestler than Charles Jourdain. If Bryce Mitchell is to get Gene Silva down, I think Bryce Mitchell is just he's almost like a heavy weighted blanket. He's going to put his weight on Gene Silva. He's going to be heavier on top if this fight goes to the ground and Bryce is able to get this fight to the ground. Now that's a huge if. That's a huge if Bryce Mitchell can get this fight to the ground because Gene Silva so far in his UFC run has looked like a dog. Um, there will be a time. I feel like that time is coming soon with how active that Gene Silva is. I feel like there will be a time where Gene Silva is a huge favorite and he will meet his maker. But I do not think that Bryce Mitchell is the guy to stop the hype train of Gene Silva. I want it to be, but I don't think so. This is not the fight. So I will just calm down and I will wait for the right fighter to pull the trigger against Gene Silva, but it's not Bryce Mitchell. Um, I love the build up of this fight, the press conference and everything. These guys already kind of have bad blood. I feel like Bryce Mitchell wants to take Gene Silva's head off, but again, he's going to have to wrestle. He has to put on a wrestling performance, a wrestling clinic against Gene Silva. And I think Gene Silva has kind of learned from his mistakes against Charles Jourdain and getting taken down. The fighting nerds have probably watched the tapes and kind of patched up those holes in Gene Silva's game. And I think Gene Silva finds a way to finish Bryce Mitchell here. Give me Gene Silva by knockout. And it hurts me to say that because I want Bryce Mitchell to win so bad. But I think Gene Silva puts on a highlight reel finish against Bryce Mitchell. Next fight, we have Yair Rodriguez versus Patricio Pitbull. I'm so hyped for this fight. I'm a huge fan of Patricio Pitbull. Pitbull is probably the Bellator goat. He's known for being the Bellator goat, and I'm just excited that he's finally here in the UFC. It's about damn time. I know he's 37 years old, but I think he still has some good fighting years left in him to kind of put on some good performances. And there's still some good fights for him at 145 in the UFC. Now, Pitbull is going up against a Tasmanian devil. I think he's going up against a wild man in Yair Rodriguez in this fight. Yair Rodriguez, I feel like he's one of the fighters that has everything and just finds ways to lose. He can be outclassed, and we kind of see him getting outclassed in a few performances lately. Like that fight against Ortega, he got submitted by Ortega. He started good in that fight, but Ortega kind of took over and submitted him. And Brian Ortega in 2024 doing that to Yair doesn't sit well with me. And then before that fight, he lost to Alexander Volkanovski. Volkanovski just totally outclassed him. And that's the thing, though. Like Yair has looked good, but he just makes these mental errors, and sometimes he's a bit too reckless. He doesn't know when to pull it back and like just stay within himself and just use these God gifted tools that he has the striking, the grappling. Like he just yeah he has the tools, but he just comes up short in these fights. Um, Yair is going to be very 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 dangerous in this fight. I think he's going to be dangerous in round one. But I'm taking Pitbull. I'm taking Pitbull to win his UFC debut against a very tough Mexican in Yair Rodriguez. Yair's gonna be tough for anybody. I think Patricia Pitbull, he has seen this style many, many times in Bellator with how long that Pitbull has been around this game. I feel like he has seen Rodriguez many, many times. Again, the first round could get interesting. I feel like Pitbull may take some time to adjust to the UFC climate, or he just feels right at home and he just puts on a performance just like that and gets Yair out of there. I don't think this fight goes to the judges. I think Pitbull finds a finish here. Again, Yair starts so fast and he looks so good, but when things don't go his way, this fight can change like that for him. And he's a few mental mistakes away from being finished. And I think Pitbull does find a finish here. I'm going with the TKO by Pitbull. So yeah, no judges needed. Now for the co-main event of UFC 314, we have Michael Chandler versus Paddy Pimblett. Now, if you guys have been listening to me talk about fights and me breaking down the fight cards whenever Paddy is fighting, you know that I'm a huge fan of Paddy Pimblett. I wish for this man to win the championship one day. I know he has a tough road ahead of him at 155, but I hope he does become a champion. But man, does he have a tough task in front of him with Michael Chandler. Now, if you have been listening to me in the past and you've heard me talk about Michael Chandler, you know that you know my feelings towards Michael Chandler. He's a very, very exciting fighter. He wants to put on a show for the fans and he wants to make his money and get out. Um, I don't believe that he's here to win the belt. I don't think he's here to win a championship. He's here to have a good time in the UFC, make his money, be in big fights, and that's it. Now, with that in mind, you see in the performances of Michael Chandler that this man is just here for the highlights. He's here for the moments, and you see him fight low IQ. I think if he was using his IQ in these fights, you would see him wrestle a bit more, use the takedowns, because he has the power. I mean, this man's explosive. He is a tank, but he just can't seem to put it all together. And he gets caught in these wildfires and he's back and forths, but he gets caught with strikes and he gets rocked and then usually he gets submitted. But the chin is worrisome for me with Michael Chandler because he has been chinned in almost all of his fights. Um, Especially in the UFC, like he's been rocked. I feel like in every single fight that he's been in the UFC, except his first fight against Dan Hooker. But I know that I know that Paddy Pimblett has striking, and he also has the grappling. But what worries me here is Paddy's defense and striking. Paddy is known for leaving his chin up in the air. He seems to back up to kind of get out of the way of punches, and he's been clipped. He's been knocked down before fighting lower level competitors when he got into the UFC. So that worries me here with someone who has the power like a Michael Chandler. Again, Michael Chandler is here for a good time, but he still is powerful and he's still going to throw bombs. And I don't know if Paddy can handle that kind of punch. He can't afford to get hit by one of those because if he does, I think he's going out. Again, I was hoping that Paddy Pimblett's last fight against Bobby Green, I wish it lasted longer because I wanted to see just where Paddy Pimblett's chin was against a good striker. Now, I say good striker. Yeah, I'm calling Bobby Green a good striker, but I'm saying that in the context of Paddy Pimblett hasn't seen a striker like that yet in his UFC career, and I kind of want to see what he looked like against someone with a striking of Bobby Green, but it ended very quickly. Paddy Pimblett was uh, got the first round submission. So I'm really kind of up in the air with Paddy the Pimblett in this fight. I know he has big dreams of becoming a champion, but man, Michael Chandler is just a bomb, and you don't know when it's going to go off. He always has a puncher's chance. Now, people are talking about Paddy the Baddy submitting Michael Chandler, which is hard for me to see too because Michael Chandler has fought some really great jiu-jitsu fighters. Uh, Charles Oliveira was able to get to the back of Michael Chandler, but wasn't able to submit him. Um, let me just look at the last 5. But again, Michael Chandler is known to have some good grappling and defense. Well, I say that and then I look at Dustin Poirier who submitted him, kind of like a ground and pound or ground and pound and then sub them out. Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel more comfortable picking the dog here with Michael Chandler than I do with the Patty Pimblett. I don't know why. Mm, nah, nah. Give me Patty Pimblett. I think that Patty Pimblett can get a finish here. I'm not too confident in it, but there's a lot of value on the dog here. And the main event of UFC 314 is Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopes. My pick is going to be Diego Lopes. He is a berserker. He's a madman, and I think people's biggest concerns are is his cardio for 5 rounds. I'm not too worried about the cardio. I think people are looking at this fight like Alexander Volkanovski is going to outpace him for five rounds. I get it because Volkanovski is known he has experience in 5 round fights, and lasting in 5 round fights. But listen, I don't think the reflexes are there anymore for a 36-year-old Volkanovski who is coming off losses and back to back knockout losses to Ilya Taporia and Islam Makachev. Am I right? Yeah. So Volkanovski's coming into this fight back to back knockouts to some great fighters, champions. I think Diego Lopez is he has the power to knock out Alexander Volkanovski. I think he is talented on the in the grappling on the ground. I think Alexander Volkanovski, if he wants to win this fight, he has to become a wrestler. I think he has to use his wrestling more. He has to go back to like Volkanovski, like 2018, 2019. Um, I would want to see Alexander Volkanovski mix it up more on the feet and working in the takedowns more. Volkanovski has fallen in love with his hands and his striking, which I don't think is going to work out for him well in this fight. I just think Volkanovski has to get back to the 2018 version of Volkanovski. The 20 sorry, the 2018 Volkanovski where he was wrestling a little bit more, getting those takedowns, and the wrestling was dominant in this division. So I just don't think so, man. Like I think Diego Lopez, he's at a 10. He's always at a 10. The energy, the pace, everything. I know he does things at a 10 and he may die out in the at the end of the 5th round or whatever, but I think he just wants this more. I think he just wants the belt more. He's been wanting this opportunity his whole life. Alexander Volkanovski has reached the heights of MMA in the UFC, winning the title and being the and he is the GOAT to me in 145. He has he has the accolades, right? But I just think Diego Lopez is just he's ready for this, man. Like I just think this is his time, and I think he has the overall skill set to deal with Alexander Volkanovski for 5 rounds. I'm just kind of I'm not there with Volkanovski and his chin. I don't know where he's at with his chin. I think it was good for him to take this time off. It's been like a year. little bit over a year since he's fought, which is really, really good. I'm glad he's healing up. But I just don't know. I question the chin and I question just how hungry Volkanovski is. Now you can say that, oh yes, I want the belt back. The belt is mine. This and that, but I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe the hunger from Alexander Volkanovski and the value of the underdog for Diego Lopez is just too good of a value to pass up. So give me Diego Lopez to win by TKO, and I think he wins by knockout. So let me just get this. So that's my breakdown for UFC 314. Again, I'm gonna go through my picks right now. Um, so I have Nora Canol. I have one second. This shit got me all mixed up, man. But yeah, I just want to thank you guys for just joining me for this episode and this breakdown. Again, on Friday there will be an episode of me dropping again, just my picks, and Drew, my co-host, will be with me, kind of talking about the card, giving our final picks, and I will be giving my favorite bet for each fight. So it will be here on Friday. Just tune in on Friday, please. So I will go through my picks again. So we have Nora Canol, we have Marco Tulio, we have Summer Durchi, we have Michael Olchechuk, I have Julian Erosa, I got Chase Hooper, I got Verna Janjaroba, I got Sean Woodson, I got Nikita Krylov, I got Gene Silva, I got Patricio Pitbull, dog number one. I have Patty Pimblett in the co-main event, and I have Diego Lopez in the main event. That's dog number two. Again, I have two underdogs right now. Things could change when the episode drops on Friday. So be on the lookout for the final picks and final bets, my favorite bets of UFC 314. Be on the lookout for that episode on Friday when that episode drops. And I will have my co-host here with me talking about the fights and all that. So there will be another voice here instead of me just talking for 47 minutes. Thank you guys again for checking me out. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe button. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, hit the follow button and rate the podcast of a 5-star, please. That kind of gets more ears and attention on my podcast. And I would truly appreciate that. Thank you guys for stopping by. This is Worth the Wait MMA podcast. I'm Aries. Thank you guys again. I'll see you guys on Friday.